in today's video, we're going to be talking about data, tracking your data. If you are only looking at your earnings, you are missing the big stuff, the really important stuff. Yes, earnings are important, but your data can show you so much more than just how much you're earning for each month. If you are new, returning, welcome. Here it is, all primary. We talk, teach your side hustles. And there's a few videos that are coming down the road, and a lot of it still stems from what is your data saying to you about your store and about your products. I've met a few people in the last month and a half where some of them have got 40, 50 products and they've just sold their first product. And I'm like, that's great. However, I'm not asking them about how much money they make. I say to them, how many views are you getting? And they'll say, well, where do I find that? And I'm like, okay, let's go to your dashboard. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you 5 data points if you are a new seller and if you are a seasoned seller, because they are just slightly different, not much, okay? So I'm going to turn the camera around, and what we're going to do is the 5 that we're going to look at, I'm going to tell you right off the bat here. Views, conversion rates, earnings over time, okay, we'll talk about, show that one, top products, and products with no sales. Okay, those are your top 5. I have in my TPT store a product called a product and data tracker. It's a very simple template. I made it in Google Slides. I'm actually got notes to upgrade it. So catch it while it's only $1.50. But get that and start tracking your stuff, okay? So I'm going to go into my dashboard. So the first one that I always recommend is views. What are you getting seen? Okay, and so here is my October. We're only halfway through October, and I'm not getting seen very much. This is not a good number for me. I'm like, what? My goal is 2,000 views a month. Okay, I'm at this rate, I will maybe hit 1,000. So I've got some work to do. But that right there told me, just by looking at views. I didn't look at my earnings, I looked at my views. And then what you need to do is you need to go over to where under products says my entire store. And it will tell you, when you click there, what products are actually getting views. And my top 2 products, and let me see if there's any more right there. My top 2 products are my freebies. This is really important stuff, because if your freebies are getting views, that's good. But then what is that freebie offering that is paid to your potential buyers? So I have a lesson plan template, it's free. I created a unit plan template, which for not very much money, that gets sales, not a ton of them. Actually, it's just not that much farther down. So this one is a yearly plan unit overview. So I took that freebie, which was getting a lot of views, and I made sure I had another product that I could direct buyers to. Someone asked about, I've got a freebie that has a lot of downloads. Can I just turn it into a paid product? You could, but you got to be really careful with that kind of stuff, because if people see that, it just may dissuade them from going to see your store. The getting to know your child one, this is top on here because I sent my email list to it, and many of them download it, which is great. But do I have a paid version of something like this? No, I do not, right? This is why views are important. It gets me thinking, what do I need to create that people are already looking at? And I'm like, okay, maybe that's on my list that I got to make in the next couple months, right? So views are important. The other thing, and within the views is your top, I look at my top 10 things that are being viewed for this month. And I'm looking, okay, so thankfully only 2 of them are freebies. Everything else is paid. The next one is conversion rates. We're going to go to conversion rates. And you always have to click apply over here. So I click apply and I'm at 6.5%, which is absolutely fine. I mentioned in a previous video, good numbers are between 3 and 5%. Personally, I go as high as 10%, depending on what it is. So they're not bad. But now I'm going to look again at the products under my entire store to see what some of these are. And I love it when some of them say 100%. That means they looked at it, they bought it. Done. Everybody who did, which is shocking. Shocking. Okay. I think those numbers are completely wrong. Interesting. 200%. I don't know how you can get 200% in a conversion rate. People bought without looking? Maybe. I'll have to ask them about that. Anyways, that's kind of funny. But conversion rates are important because when I first started, let me see if I can go back to let me do a custom. I can't custom here. I'm going to go to actually September 2020 is when I made my first $50 in TPT. I was super excited. So here is my first month making $50. I made 50, like I said, if I go to my sales earnings, it should say 5051. Yeah, 5051. And I made a bundle sale, and you can see it right in the middle of the month. Okay, but a lot of these 1-1-2s. This was my 4th month on TPT. June, July, August, September. Yeah, this was my 4th month on TPT. But let's go to my views that month. Look at that, 12, almost just over 1,100. Okay. So when I look at my conversion rate, it drops dramatically, 2%. That's not good. It went as high on some things. Actually, I know what it was. I'm pretty sure. So if you look at my very first product, this was my very first digital product I made for my TPT store back in 2020. It was a Google Slides to 20, adding to 20, and my conversion rate, I sold it for $1 because I wanted views. That's what I was doing. Back then, I didn't care how much money I made. I wanted the views, and I wish I kind of kept that mindset. The next one is your top products. So I keep track of my top 10. So here are my top 10. I only had 15 products for sale. I had five or six freebies, and I think I had 19 products at that point. So almost all of them, like these all, actually they're showing everything now, but back then I had 19 products. I want you to look at your top 10. And if you don't have any sales, then go to your top 10 products viewed, okay? Now, one of the other ones that I want you to look at is over time. So what I want you, let's just look at 2020 over the course of the year. I didn't start till June, and I didn't get my first sale until August. So I was on TPT 3 months before I got even a sale. So if you're brand new, no sales, this should give you hope, okay? Let me go to December. Go to December 2021. Okay. So this is from January 2020 until January 2022. So this is 2 years. So as you can see, what you're looking at is where your highs are, okay? Oops, okay, we can actually let me do earnings. January 2021 was a good month for me, okay? And then I pretty much fell off the cliff. I didn't make products after about May, right? And July's were 0. I had 2 years of 0 for July. What I want you to do with, if you have more than a year's earnings or even views, I want you to look to see where your peaks and your valleys are. So if you can see on mine, and this is still relatively consistent. It's off by a bit, but it's the fall. Okay, so there's my first month on TPT getting sales, August, September, and then I got a decline. Interesting enough, November and December are pretty close. Some people's Decembers drop right off. January, I peaked, fell right back down to 50, okay? So during those years, my average income was 50 bucks, right? If I look at my different things. And then March, April was a decent month. So I've got August, September, down a little bit. January, down. March, down. April goes up. Now, April hasn't always been like that, but it's telling me this is how my store is going to ebb and flow currently. It would be kind of cool if I could do this on top of, and someone might be able to do this for me or tell me how to do this. I'm going to change it to views and see if this is similar. It's not that far off, okay? So here are views. So I'm getting a lot of views in August, September, goes down. January, interesting enough, January is not that high, but I got more sales, and that January was my highest sales. And then February and March, better, right? Things, and then they peak again, August. So based on views, August, September are my best months. And that's what I want you to be looking. I want you to think strategically. Okay, if I'm getting more eyes on my store in August and September, or January or February, or April or May, then I want to make sure I have my store at its optimized best. Optimized best. I don't think there's such a phrase. I want them to be optimized in those months. I want to gear everything up. I'm about to put new products on my store. I want to make sure that they're there for those months where my views are at their highest, okay? The last thing I want you to do, so you know what your top 10 products are, I want you to now go and look at your bottom 10. Go to the right to the very bottom. Now, I have 129 products, I believe. I can't even remember now. I've been taking things off. I've been putting a couple new products on. But now what I got to do is I'm going to look at those products and say, okay, first of all, how long have they been on my store? Have they been on over a year? If they have, is there anything then I'm going to look and see how they're viewed. Okay, so for example, one of the low ones here, I think that one just came on. So let's ignore that one. Let's look at my French, All About Me and My Buddy, okay? I made that for a gal at my school, and then I said I'll just upload it. It does get sales, but it doesn't get a lot. I'm going to save that. So now I've got one product there, and I'm looking at my views for that one product. So I don't even have any views for this product. Let me just go through the year. Do you see how I'm playing with some of this? I give myself an hour. Okay, so here are the views for this product over the year. Okay, so it's getting views, not a lot. This is from January of this year to October, so the past 10 months, 17 views in 10 months. Is that good? No, it's not good. So then I need to decide, what am I going to do with this product? Is it ranked? I got to see if it's going to be on the first page ranked. Are people even looking for it? Right? This is another thing. People are looking for French products, but are they looking for something like that? I don't think they are. Like I said, I made that, and when I made it, I think I saw one other product in French for that. So anyways, these are all the things you need to look at. And when you're a brand new, don't worry about the marketing aspect. Don't go onto Instagram if you don't have to. Don't go onto TikTok. I mean, some people do. That's your choice, but you don't have to. This is what you should be looking at. Your data tells you things, and this is what I highly recommend. Okay, so those are did I cover all 5 of them? So the 5 again were your views, your conversion rates, your earnings over time, your top products, and your bottom products, okay? And what I'd do is I'd keep track of them month over month. So if you don't want to get that, if you want to create your own data tracker, just go into make a Google sheet with it, okay? Just make a Google sheet. And so for those of you who have had a store now for, let's say, at least 1 to 2 years, yours are very similar, but what we're gonna do is we're going to change them up just a tiny bit. All those other ones are good, okay? If you wanted to just stick with those ones, if you're comfortable there, then you can use those. But here are some other ones to consider. Number 1, return buyers. So I just had a free TPT audit done, and I wasn't expecting any surprises because I know exactly what's wrong with my store and I just haven't gotten around to fixing it. And they shared them, but one of the things that they shared was that they said I have 0 return buyers. And I went, haha, no, that's wrong. So where do I find that? Let's go to the dashboard. Okay, so here is January to October. But now what I want to do is my buyer type is not available for views. So I'm going to go to units sold. Okay, and then I'm going to change it to repeat. Hit apply. So they told me I had no repeat buyers. I had 6 this year. Now, is that a good number? No, that's not. That's a terrible number. That's a terrible number. Okay, so that's something I got to work on. I have a lot of one-offs. Okay, and even though I make language arts things, a lot of people just seem to buy one, which is not a good thing. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe either I got to make more similar products, okay, or I got to bump the value or something, right? This is telling me things, but I got to figure out exactly what it's telling me. Let me look at lifetime and see whether I'm getting repeat buyers. It won't probably be able to do it for lifetime. Oh, it does yeah. Okay, so there you go. I'm getting some repeat buyers. August 2024, I had 4 repeat buyers. Okay, it's a little better looking, but it's not 0. This is potential earnings for yourself. Okay, your repeat buyers. You want people to come back and buy from you. That's absolutely something I can work on. Okay, so repeat buyers is number 1. Number 2 is your conversion rates, but we're going to tweak them just a little bit. So for example, we are in the Halloween, moving into the American Thanksgiving. Canada just had their Thanksgiving. We are in that Halloween fall season. So what you can do is you can go back to your views. I put in this year, but what I'm going to do now is I'm going to tinker with my store. I don't want everything looked at. I only want my fall products looked at. I don't have a lot. And this is another issue I've got to work on. Okay, I just found a couple winters. So let's do winter. And that just tells me something, okay? Winter, winter, winter. I got winter. Okay, I'll stop right there. So I found 4 products, I think. 3 products, okay. What I want to do is I want to look to see how those 3 products did. What is my conversion rate? And interesting enough, this is what cracks me up. Look at this. I know one thing about this. Okay, I have Australian buyers because my winter products sell in the summer. Okay, and it's winter in the southern hemisphere, right? So, but let me look at its conversion rates for my winter products. Okay, so right now it's 0. But what I need to do is need to go to, let's do January to, oh, that's terrible. Did I get sales? I might not have gotten sales. So this is what, okay, I should have tested this out earlier. Find winter products that have made sales during the winter, okay? Or you can do summer if you know you've got Australian or different Southern Hemisphere teachers. And then I want you to look at your conversion rates on your seasonal stuff only and see whether if they're high, then it might tell you instead of making evergreen products to make seasonal products. you see what I'm getting at? Just something to consider. One of the things that I would try and recommend, given the TPT town hall meeting that just came up and said that we were down between 3 and 7.5% the last couple months, and they think it's because of AI. Could be completely true. Could be completely true. In fact, I have a video that I started, I never finished it actually, on should we be afraid of AI? Okay, I'll try and get it out. But anyways, some people think that we have no control over our sales, and I think that's not quite true. I think we have some control over our sales. This is why I participate in hashtag sales, because I know that with a hashtag sale, I did one a week ago, and I usually make about, anywhere from 4 to 7 sales. I've had as high as a dozen, but normally it's around the 6, 7 mark. I see that was predictable to me. I know that I can make that many sales, even though they're $1, but I always think it gets eyes on my store. So it's worth doing. It's a bit of a marketing technique. I'm now realizing that because of all the nurturing and the value that I've been giving to my email list I have 2 emails. I have the TPT seller one, and I have my primary teachers one. I've given a lot of value without trying to sell products. Now I'm trying to make that move to selling. They're clicking now on my store. Literally within hours of the email going live, my views are spiking a bit. Okay, not as much as they did that one time I showed you in August. It's telling me that they're interested. So I need to be very strategic on what am I going to make that my email list will be interested in. I don't get a ton of replies. I get some replies, and I'm super thankful for them, because those little replies that I get in my emails tell me a lot of things. Okay, and so I made a product. It's sitting on the table. I just got to do the photography, and I'm making a video preview. Once that's done, and I think it will get sales, because it's sort of the what they are looking at. This is one of the things you do as a more seasoned seller. You start trying to figure out what exactly does my audience want. When I started TPT, I had a goal just to get 50 resources up. I didn't care the value. I didn't care their condition or anything. I just wanted to get 50 up. That was my goal. Now that I've been on TPT for 5 years, that's not my mindset. My mindset is to offer people what they need, okay? Not to make whatever I want. And if you want to make whatever you want, that's fine. It is your store, it's your business. But Walmart, McDonald's, don't, they try things. They try and sell things, and months later it's no longer there because people didn't buy. And you only have so much space. You have so much space of time, your time and energy, and if you are looking to make money on TPT, then you need to be making products that people will buy. Don't just make anything because you like it. I mean, if you really don't care about your sales, then have at it. But if you care about sales, you can't just make what you want. You've got to make what teachers want. Number 3 is you're underperforming. So it doesn't necessarily mean your lowest products. It's what's underperforming in your eyes. Okay, what is underperforming? That's number 3. Your number 4 is working on your average order. Now, this is something TPT has on their dashboard that is relatively new. You can look at the average cart sale, and I can tell for mine that many of mine are one-offs, and I'll show you. Now, where I want to go in the metrics is I want to go to, I started at views, I'm going to go to metrics, and I'm going to go to earnings per cart, units per cart. And as you can see, there's earnings per cart. So we'll look at that one in just a moment. But we're going to go to units per cart. So when someone is buying, how many of your products are they actually putting into their cart when they purchase. And as you can see, one. They are not buying more than one product from me. Okay, so that's something I have to look at. Let me go now to earnings per cart and how much that one product is, which I can pretty much guess. They're going to be under $3 because most of my products are under $3. But you can see the average is $2.58. So, okay, I've had 3 days of no sales. This one's a little bit higher. Okay, people are not spending a lot based on what my cart shows. This is telling me that my buyers' habits is they're going to TPT looking for one thing and getting off, buying it and getting off. Okay, and this was something that Paul talked about in a previous town hall meeting. They're tracking the buyer experience so that they can give them a little bit more. That's why you're seeing different like personal ads. If you like this product, what about these products, right? Your goal then is to get them to buy another product. What other product? And so then you have to think about what could you turn that into a bundle with? It's interesting, okay? That one I'm not very good at, okay? But I haven't honestly taken a good look at that one, but that was one more. And then one of the things that I would want you to do is to go into your product statistics. I love trying to say that one. Let me go to product statistics. So your product statistics give you different things depending on what you're looking for, but the activity is one that I tend to look at. This is a lifetime. It will give you the days you actually posted it if you're curious as to how many products you posted certain days or certain months or years. But I look at the page views, the previews, and the wish listed. The downloads is for your freebies, which is not quite showing. It's cut off a little bit. Okay, and then tells you your rating. If you want to look at your ratings in a little bit more in depth and how many reviews you've got. I don't touch easel a whole lot, but going back to your activity, what I like to look at is this wish listed. I want to know who's wish listing this item. And is there a way that I can go back to that product and say, what can I do with either the thumbnails or the product description that can help push this from a wish list to getting it put into the cart? Okay. So as you can see with seasoned sellers, we're thinking we have to do a little bit more deep diving into our metrics, our statistics, and seeing what we can do with everything. Data is important. And when we start talking, I'm going to be talking about Seller Spy in an upcoming video. And I'm also going to be talking about some quick winter products. I know it's not winter, but we want to kind of get them on by November. So, and oh man, November is coming up. I think we're going to be too late. Okay, we'll try. We will try. Okay. I'll give you some suggestions of some easy winter products you can make. And it doesn't seem to matter the grade. A lot of them will work, even if they're 1 page, or you can quickly make 10 pages or whatever. We'll do that, see if we can batch some winter stuff, okay? Anyways, wherever you are in the world, I hope you and your family are staying safe, being healthy, and we'll catch you in that video or the playlist. See ya.